I mean, he's decomposing before our eyes, and he's taking our economy and our markets down with him. And then he panics and he makes things worse. His presidency built on grievance and retribution, and his obvious hatred for America is showing each and every day. Just take a look at Trump's second term versus his first term as it relates to the Dow Jones and the S&P 500. I can give you other markers which shows how much better former President Biden was doing than Donald Trump. But just look at Trump 1 compared to Trump 2 as he tanks our markets and people lose their life savings. I mean, waking up in the morning to the Trump regime, you wake up to headlines like this from NBC. U.S. citizen child recovering from brain cancer is deported to Mexico with undocumented parents. The Texas family was on their way to an emergency medical checkup, they said, when they were detained at an immigration checkpoint. Or how about a headline like this? Trump White House has asked U.S. military to develop options for the Panama Canal, officials say. Potential plans range from partnering more closely with the Panamanian military to a less likely option of U.S. troops seizing the canal by force, U.S. officials told NBC News. So the United States military drafting up plans to invade the Panama Canal. Or you learn this, that Elon Musk's Doge actually resulted in zero federal spending savings. In fact, last month, U.S. federal spending rose to a record $603 billion last month. That's more than any other month. So for all the chaos and confusion the Department of Government Efficiency has caused, it has saved the government nothing, and the government has actually spent more money than ever before. You can take a look at the CBO data, and that quote came from Bloomberg News as well. Donald Trump wakes up with those hands of his and then types things like this. The U.S. doesn't have free trade. We have stupid trade. The entire world is ripping us off. Just an abuser. It's like someone who sends you abusive, hostile text messages. That's like the posts that this maniac makes in the morning. The other one that he made yesterday morning is the European Union was one of the most hostile and abusive taxing and tariffing authorities in the world. He goes, if they want to put a 50% tariff on our whiskey, the U.S. will shortly place a 200% tariff on all wines, champagnes, and alcoholic products coming out of France. This will be great, he says, for the U.S. champagne business. There is no champagne business in the United States. And like the abuser that he is, it's like, dude, you put tariffs on Europe. All they did was put in-kind tariffs back on the United States. They didn't want to put tariffs on. Canada didn't want to have to put retaliatory tariffs on. They're responding to your tariffs. Then you get mad when they respond, and then you get abusive. I mean, remember, Trump's a sexual abuser, right? He was found liable for sexual abuse. This is his pathology. This is his pathology, that of an abuser. Then Donald Trump writes, the globalist Wall Street Journal has no idea what they are doing or saying. They are owned and polluted in their thinking by the European Union. Like went on an attack on the European Union. You notice Donald Trump never wakes up and attack Vladimir Putin or Kim Jong-un or like our actual enemies. It's always an attack on Canada or an attack on the European Union. Those are the two he hates the most, Canada and the European Union. So Donald Trump was saying all that yesterday while he had the Secretary General of NATO, Mark Rutte, in the Oval Office. And so while the Secretary General of NATO's there, Donald Trump tells this delusional false story about breaking into Los Angeles and invading it. He goes that he invaded Los Angeles to take the water and to put out the fires. Here, watch this.
I broke into Los Angeles. Can you believe it? I had a break-in. I invaded Los Angeles, and we opened up the water, and the water is now flowing down. They have so much water, they don't know what to do. They were sending it out to the Pacific for environmental reasons. Okay, can you believe it? And in the meantime, they lost 25,000 houses. They lost, and nobody's ever seen anything like it. But
again, this is like the most delusional psycho stuff. I don't know how else to describe it. I don't want to mince my words. It's delusional and psycho. Donald Trump didn't invade Los Angeles. So after the fires were extinguished, Donald Trump sent the Army Corps of Engineers to like Northern California and let out reservoirs with about 2 billion gallons of water nowhere near Southern California. And he drained reservoirs that are needed by farmers in kind of Central and Northern California who tend to vote Republican. And he just drained the Army Corps of Engineers, part of the federal government, just drain it for no reason. So he can say he turned on a faucet. Had nothing to do with Southern California. California, Donald, it's a big state, Donald. And you were nowhere near where the fires were, and the fires were extinguished. But he's talking about invading LA with the NATO Secretary of General. Oh, and he was also talking about annexing Canada and then making sure that Canada would be the 51st state, but they could keep their national anthem. Here, play this clip.
And to be honest with you, Canada only works as a state. It doesn't, we don't need anything they have. As a state, it would be one of the great states anyway. This would be the most incredible country visually. If you look at a map, they drew an artificial line right through it between Canada and the U.S., just a straight artificial line. Somebody did it a long time ago, many, many decades ago, and makes no sense. It's so perfect as a great and cherished state. Keeping "O Canada," the national anthem. I love it. I think it's great. Keep it. But it'll be for the state, one of our greatest states.
And it was more Bash Canada Day in the Trump regime. Every day is Bash Canada Day in the Trump regime. It's why it's so important with our platform that I let the Canadians know that there are far more Americans who support the Canadians. And by the way, we understand that why you're boycotting America. We understand why you're canceling your tourism. The Trump regime declared war, not trade war, not economic war. The Trump regime actually declared real war on Canada. Those are fight words, annexation. Anyway, here's Howard Lutnick so you can hear for yourself saying, why are we doing business with Canada at all? Play this clip.
Why are we doing all this business in Canada if they're not respectful, if they're not thankful, and they don't want to do it? Imagine.
And then it was reported at some point in the day yesterday as well that, oh, maybe the Trump regime was going to do no tax on people making under $150,000. But then Howard Lutnick went on Fox to make it clear, no. Why would we ever deal that with people making under $150,000? No, we're here to help the billionaires. He goes, that's aspirational. Play this clip.
Welcome to the story.
Great to be here today.
Good to see you. So what about that? You said on CBS that President Trump wants no taxes on people making below $150,000 annually. And our sources are saying that the Treasury Department doesn't have any plan to put that into action.
No, that's taking it out of context. What we discussed was when the president balances the budget, his first move is going to be, he has suggested that he would like to waive taxes for people under $150,000. That's aspirational, that when we balance the budget. And let me tell you, he's got a plan to balance this budget.
By the way, you know what's also aspirational? Aspirational is anything other than the social welfare they're providing to the oligarchs and the billionaires. So when they say no tax on tips, no tax on Social Security, no tax on overtime, those are the things that are aspirational, right? In other words, lies. That's what they dangle over we the people and go, oh, maybe we can do it, while they actually help the oligarchs. Remember, there's nothing about no tax on tips, no tax on Social Security, no tax on overtime. None of that's in the continuing resolution. Donald Trump has not reduced prices. Housing is less affordable, not more affordable. Products are less affordable right now. And America's heading into a great recession right now, if not a depression right now. That's where the country is headed. And no wonder MAGA Republicans are getting booed when they do the town halls. I at least give this MAGA Republican, Chuck Edwards from North Carolina, credit for doing a town hall, but he got booed right away. Play this clip.
I was proud to vote recently for the House budget resolution, which provides the framework. Yep. And you wonder why folks don't want to do these town halls.
Oh, yeah. And speaking about waking up in Trump's America, more plane accidents, more issues with planes. A plane in Denver International Airport caught on fire. You can see the people on the wing of the plane, right? I don't really remember during the Biden administration, every day or two, there was either a plane crash, planes catching on fire, some engines, apparently now every day there's an incident like this. And the Trump regime wants you to know, hey, planes crash all the time. Planes crash all the time. And then Laura Ingraham brings on J.D. Vance and says, can you rule out a recession, J.D.? And of course, J.D. can't respond. Let's play the clip.
But can you rule out the possibility, as Reagan faced in his first term in office, coming off a terrible economic calamity for the country, can you rule out a recession, even a temporary one?
Well, look, I think you never can predict the future, but I think the economy, the fundamentals of the economy are actually quite strong right now. And we'll see how this unfolds, Laura. But I think that by inducing more businesses to invest in American workers, by reshoring some of those critical supply chains, we are going to make this economy stronger over the long haul. And that is the president's ultimate goal.
One more piece of news I want to talk to you about heading into the day. A federal judge yesterday ordered that half a dozen federal agencies immediately reinstate probationary employees fired last month as part of the Trump administration's effort to rapidly shrink the federal workforce. Jim Scudo with the scoop. The preliminary injunction issued from the bench by U.S. District Judge William Alsop requires the Department of Veterans Affairs, Agriculture, Defense, Energy, Interior, and Treasury to rehire the employees. The judge said that he might extend the order to cover other federal agencies at a later time. In other words, DOJ ain't that efficient. They're not efficient at all. In fact, they're making things worse. They're destroying our government. People are pissed. Democrats, or people who care about our country, who cares about the meet the moment, stand with workers, stand with equality, stand for and with our climate, stand with people, with compassion, with love. Fight for our country. Fight for our country. Hit subscribe. Let's get to 5 million subscribers.
Can't get enough Meidas? Check out the Meidas Plus Substack for ad-free articles, reports, podcasts, daily recaps from Ron Filipkowski, and more. Sign up for free now at MeidasPlus.com.